Hej och välkommen till denna infosession från Företagsuniversitetet. Vi ska titta närmare på vår Masterclass i Agile arkitekturen. Vi ska träffa kursledaren Christoph Windelen och passa på att fråga ut honom lite om den här kursens innehåll. Den här Masterclassen är ett samarbete mellan Företagsuniversitetet här i Stockholm och Innocom och deras IC-institut i Belgien. Företagsuniversitetet, om du inte redan vet det, grundades 1982 och är ett av Sveriges ledande utbildningsföretag. Vi ägs av stiftelsen Kursverksamhet vid Stockholms universitet. Vi hälsar ungefär 6 000 deltagare välkomna till oss varje år och då springer de omkring här i korridorerna. Samarbetet som den här masterclassen är med europeiska specialister betyder att kursledaren som du kommer att träffa är engelsktalande och att en del material och case studies också är det. Men själva kursen sker i vår regi och på plats här hos oss i Stockholm, som du ser lite bilder på här i bakgrunden. Nu ropar vi in Christoph. Christoph, welcome on stage. Där har vi honom.
Daniel, thank you.
Live from Belgium. Welcome.
Yeah, fully in sunny Belgium even.
Christoph, I'm interested in this masterclass in Agile architecture. What's your elevator pitch? I mean, what is this about and why should I sign up?
Okay, you're jumping into it straight away. Like it, Daniel. Well, maybe let's start the elevator pitch with the problem statement. I think that's the easiest way in. What we see often, or what we have experienced often, is that architects are typically well-trained, equipped well with frameworks and techniques and methods and so forth, that serve the more traditional approach well. Dealing with really complicated matters, most of the architects have that, let's say, in their backpack. But Agile is a quite different beast. It's about experimentation, it's about fast changes, it's about delivering continuously and so forth. And we've noticed that the, let's say, the backpack of the architect is not always fully equipped. And that's where the masterclass comes in, giving the people the handles to actually, not only survive, but actually thrive in this Agile way of doing things.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And I mean, if I'm thinking about my own title, is this right for me? I mean, what kind of architect is this course for?
Yeah, great question as well. Basically, any kind of architect, because we believe strongly that enterprise architecture, which is, let's say, the umbrella that we use, let's say, covers all the disciplines. It's all about making sure that enterprise architects translate the strategy well, solution architects do the implementation well, or build the solution well, but also make sure that every software architect, IT architect, and so forth is actually, let's say, aligned with everything that's happening. So it's for all disciplines within architecture, though the emphasis is, of course, on collaborating, having the tools to work together.
Yeah. And I just read through the course material on the website at Företagsuniversitetet.se, where you can also book the course. But there was a lot of emphasis on the role of the architect in this corporate mix, if you may. Like, why is that?
Again, that's the observation. Because we also have a course, and it's something additional on the actual architecture, because you could argue it's all about the architecture in the end. But we notice that collaborating and working together, having techniques to deal with these changes, faster deployments, faster delivery of value for the organization, shorter time to market, or whatever it's the emphasis is of the organization. It's all about having the right approaches, regardless from the technicality. Important as well, extremely important. But working together in an agile way is actually the essential part of it.
Yeah. So if I come from an IT background, for example, will we look deeper into like actually, architect an agile IT system?
Well, we will not look into the details. So we will not talk about this is the best way to do an API, or cloud is better than something else. Or that is not the emphasis of the masterclass, but it is the emphasis to give you techniques, let's say handles. How can I start making these decisions consciously so you can work together with the agile teams? It's one of the things that you need to do, of course. Work with the agile teams towards the perfect solution. And it's of course that iterative mindset, that iterative approach that we'll emphasize, and how to actually do that.
If I'm navigating the markets here, I mean, what would you say if I ask you, like, how does this masterclass differentiate from other sort of agile architecture courses out there?
Yeah. One of the things that we have noticed is you got SAFe, you got Spotify, you got a lot of, let's say, frameworks out there and the training surrounding those frameworks, which I think are extremely useful, of course. If you want to work in a Spotify model, then of course it makes sense that you understand the Spotify model or any other kind of model. But that's the emphasis on the framework. Basically, we've noticed that those trainings actually don't provide a real hands-on. How do you make a faster decision? How do you do that? What is the process behind it? And that is basically what the architecture masterclass is about. It's about all those things which typically those courses don't answer, but architects are of course very well interested in. It's understanding the more technical part of being an architect. How do I actually do this, regardless of navigating well in a SAFe framework or a McKinsey model or any other?
Yeah, and let's assume that I'm very successful. I want to think so, right? Is there an exam? Will I get a certificate? How does that work?
Yeah. So we actually hand out certificates, but we only do that after people actually do the exercise as well during the course. We got a couple of exercises. We got a small case in the 2 days masterclass as well. People actually succeed in delivering, let's say, the wanted outcome or the outcome we envision. Then we're happy to hand them a certificate for the proven, let's say, competences that they've developed.
Fantastic. One of the aspects that I really like about the collaboration and partnership between Företagsuniversitetet and Innocom and IC Institute is this notion that Företagsuniversitetet has been around, like I said in my intro, in 1982. It's one of Sweden's leading educational organizations. And we would be on any given day or week be working with the biggest companies in Sweden, right? There's this a deep knowledge and understanding of this industry. And Innocom and IC Institute, from an architect perspective, being both one of Europe's leading consultancies on the topic as well as educators, meaning that what we're going to learn and discuss, as say if I'm right or wrong, is coming from the real nature of practitioners, right?
Yeah,
coming from real organizations, real case studies, the real deal. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we at the IC Institute do, we're part of, let's say, a consultancy company. Innocom is 90 consultants large. We work with, let's say, the biggest companies in Belgium and beyond. And so that's actually in practice where we do the real deal. And of course, we have an institute. We even have a master's degree in enterprise architecture. Part of the institute is a master's degree. So let's say the more academic approach is also tested in reality. Let's say that works both ways, of course. It's the practicalities enrich the way, of course, we bring things towards.
And now you've done you've done this before, and you know the masterclass inside and out, so you know the value of the content itself. But I guess, I mean, for me, coming into the Företagsuniversitetet, the venue in Stockholm, going into the room, meeting you, there'll be a lot of exchange and value created just by discussing these studies and these methodologies with colleagues from around Sweden, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the let's say the pleasures that we also have as teachers, of course. It's learning about the unique context from each and every organization. But of course, if the dynamic is well, which it often is, then of course people started changing their approaches, their way of seeing the world, and so much more of actually, let's say, understanding each other better, learning each other, and maybe even trying to find each other afterwards, because that's also a benefit. So it really is something which is in addition to the course, something that often happens, of course.
Yeah. And you've led this masterclass historically or previously. What are, afterwards or during the class, what are the most common, comments, perspectives? What do people say? What's the vibe in the room?
Yeah, well, and of course it's congratulating myself now. But one of the things that it really is top of mind is that first of all, it wasn't what people expected. could be a negative thing, of course, but in our world, this is a typical positive thing. It's getting a thorough understanding of what Agile actually means to the architect.
Yeah.
And this is something that, even though a lot of people understand Agile, even work in organizations that do Agile, even scaled Agile models and so forth, but it's coming back with a thorough understanding. This is what it means. This is what it means to me as an architect, and now I can actually start using it for my own benefit. It's going back to the essence sometimes, but starting from the essence again to actually develop approaches to really be relevant in that organization.
Yeah. And there's an additional video on the site here where you sort of describe, you talk to someone that took the course, etc. beforehand. We'll link to that video, and it's on the page that you're on right now. You talk there about your guidelines for this. I think it's 8 guidelines that you rely upon. Yeah. Tell me a bit. What's the elevator pitch for them? What's that about?
Yeah. Well, it's there many years of experience that we have boiled down to the core essence, let's say. And when we really have the essence left, these are the 8 things that we would take on any consultancy assignment. If we want to help the organization to become more agile and have an agile architecture discipline, these are our 8 guidelines, our 8 handles. That's what we work with, because we know they work, they're tested, they're proven, and so forth. These are the essential things that you need under control or need to develop to become an agile architecture practice.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, we're going to wrap up now. If I'm on the page here now, I'm leaning towards double clicking the booking option here. What are your parting words for me?
I hope to see you. I hope to learn how Sweden looks at agile and architecture. So I'm really looking forward to meeting you guys. And
perfect.
Of course, double click that button.
Thank you, Christoph. See you soon here in Stockholm.
Thank you.
Det var Christoph Windelen, kursledare på Masterclassen Agile Architecture. Tack så mycket. Några avslutande ord från mig är bara, som sagt, Företagsuniversitetet. Den här kursen sker på Vasagatan hos oss, som du ser här omkring. Det finns en pdf med ytterligare information som du kan ladda ner här på sidan. Vi på Företagsuniversitetet och Christoph själv eller någon annan expert i vårt ekosystem finns alltid tillgänglig om du har frågor eller vill prata om kursen är rätt för dig eller vill veta mer helt enkelt. Så det finns också här på sidan där du bara kan in med din mailadress och ditt namn, så kontaktar vi dig eller se till så att du kommer i kontakt med rätt specialist. Och utöver det så kan jag bara hoppas att vi ses här snart. Tack för idag!